Hey everybody, it's the Diary of Jane Doe. I am having a really hard day. Today was one of those days that I just want bedtime to come, and I just want to have that quiet time in the evening where I can sit and I can process things. There have been some major life changes in my own life. Big things happening, big outcomes, big ramifications, and a lot of big emotions. We call them big emotions in our house. It's it can be when a child is feeling exceptionally sad over something or frustrated over something, whether it be an appropriate response, but in that moment, the loss of the balloon feels like a big loss in their life. A brother or a sister or a cousin or a friend knocking over their tower feels like a big deal. And so they have these big displays of emotion. As a mama, I feel, and as an adult, as a human being, we all have felt great sadness, great frustration, anger. Even Christ himself, the shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept. And, we see that Christ felt betrayal. He felt sadness. He felt anger. He felt disappointment. He felt all of these emotions. Those emotions in and of themselves are not sinful. It is not sinful to feel sad. It is not sinful to feel betrayed or to feel frustrated. Where we end up running into issues is how we deal with those issues, how we deal with those big emotions. You can't sit in those big emotions without addressing them and expect things to be healthy. You can't sit with that hurt and that anger for very long without dealing with it before it starts festering and creating these roots of bitterness. I have often told the story of, the wet bathing suit that got left in a plastic bag, that then got moved from the trunk of the car into the garage and then got left there because my husband thought that it was garbage, but didn't put it in the garbage bin. And it got left there and kind of got tucked aside, and we pull out this garbage bag near the end of this plastic grocery bag, and at the end of the summer I pull out this stinky, moldy bathing suit because the heat and the moisture breeded bacteria and mold. And so there was this gross, disgusting, moldy bathing suit that I ended up throwing out because even though I bleached it, the mold stains didn't come out, and it just was gross. I was like, I could bleach this or I could just throw it out. I did try, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't fix it. Well, that happened because the moisture and the heat was kept in the darkness. Had that bathing suit been laid out on the grass where the light was allowed to get at it, it would have dried quickly. The sun would have killed the bacteria that would have grown, the mold, the moisture would have been gone. The darkness wouldn't have been there. Darkness breeds darkness, as they say. Darkness and moisture breeds bacteria in clothing and in wet items in a damp, dark basement. We need to bring the light to the objects. We need to get, things aired out. Well, when you have these big emotions and you leave them inside and you don't address them, they fester. They begin to grow rapidly like mold. And the results that are produced are bitterness and anger and fear. So when we start to feel these initial big emotions, as I would say, the upset, the sadness, the disbelief, the betrayal, what we need to do is we need to bring them to light. We need to talk about them. We need to deal with them. We need to find a trusted friend. We need to talk to a pastor's wife, or your sister or your sister-in-law, or your mom or your mother-in-law, someone at your church or from your mom's group. And you need to be able to express these emotions so that you can process them and not sit in them and allow them to fester and to get dark and to breed mold and mildew and gross, right? To breed that emotional junk that ends up hurting you long term. we think sometimes that ATI preaches happy, shiny little faces and to just shove the emotions down inside. And I feel like that has not been my understanding or my experience all of the time within ATI. As I began to go through some of embassy media and as I began to listen to people speak like Jenny Speed. I mean, Jenny Speed helped me through some of the darkest days of my adult life. And she said, you get bitter or you get better. You either sit there and you let it turn into bitterness or you work it out. You sit with a trusted friend and you work it out so that you don't get bitter, so that you don't let this ruin you. Feel the emotions. They also talk about being open, broken, and free. Be open with the problems that are happening in your life, with the struggles that you're having. Be able to admit, this is breaking me. This is making me feel crazy on the inside. I'm having a hard time dealing with this emotion right now. Let that brokenness lead you to a point of freedom. To say, I don't want to be here forever. I don't want to be stuck in this with this negative emotion forever. And then you work on to freedom as you talk it out, as you get help, as you talk to these trusted women or men in your life. If you're a man, typically you'll be, getting counsel from other men, and women will be getting counsel from other women. But as you begin to work through this, you can bring yourself to that point of freedom. I think that, it's hard to sit with someone as they process through these emotions. And so it's easier to just leave them. It's easier to say, okay, just you get back to me, I'll be praying for you. But we do. We embrace them. We come alongside of the women that are hurting. I look at Lauren Degger. There's been a ton of negativity about her loss on the snark pages, saying, she just needs to get over it. Well, that was really real for her. It was really hard for her. And she's needed to process that out. That was a big emotion. That was a big loss. And, her talking about it and her dealing with it was a way of it not letting it consume her. Now, there comes a point where when your grief or your anger or your sadness goes on for a long time, and even despite the efforts and the counsel of the wise women around you, if that begins to not resolve, that's when you need to speak to your midwife or to your physician and say, okay, this is going on for a long time and I need help outside of my counsel of wise women. I need to look at what my options are and what else could be going on. Is it hormonal? Is it a chemical imbalance? Is it clinical depression or anxiety? And beginning to look into some of those things so that you can find the freedom from these things. So yeah, don't think that you have to be a shiny, happy face all the time. Don't think that you have to be just this perfect little robot with no emotions, a Stepford wife. That's not it at all. But I don't want you to be sitting in that emotion. I already am feeling a lot better just being able to chat with you guys. Keep me in your prayers, y'all. Things are really kind of hard right now. And, I'm dealing with a lot. And my family is going through a lot. So I covet your prayers. And I just want to be an encouragement to you. So I hope you guys are having a great day. And that y'all have a blessed week. All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.